I mean, I don't think there's a better floor in the conference than we have. And you know, I think the more you know, just like in the old Marine Corps, if I may, if you look good and feel good, you're going to do good. And I think that that's what we've tried to do. And as you know, we've gotten a lot of help. We've got a lot of people in the Tartar Gridiron Club that has come to our aid for football. And you know, I think it's flourishing now. We have as good equipment, as good as you know, uniforms, etc., as anybody in the league. Now we got to fill them, and we're going to do that.
What about some of the other fall sports? Give us an update on how the other Tartar teams are doing.
Well, as you heard, I think the women's volleyball team, we have a new coach there, and they're doing very, very well. I think they're about 5-7 now, but he came in the day practice started. So, you know, he's doing a great job with them. Our women's tennis team have improved. They won yesterday. They were winning when I left over there today. You know, so, you know, we're doing pretty well. Cross country is a growing sport. We just put in a women's cross country program, and it's a little slow in starting, but, you know, we want to get that program for gender equity going and get it going in a fine fashion. So.
Is that your biggest challenge, Bob, is the gender equity? I mean, that's a very, very hot issue, and I'm not going to ask you about football versus all the scholarships, but is that one of the biggest challenges of being an athletic director? It's not as easy maybe as it used to be? Is that a fair statement?
It isn't as easy, I don't think, but I think that it can be done, and it can be done without tearing down your other programs. I mean, naturally, you need corporate help in doing it, and we've been very fortunate. You know, in the last 4 years here, for instance, we have gone from 2 endowed scholarships. That last 2 weeks ago, actually, I got a commitment for the 19th endowment. So, you know, we've gone up 17 scholarships in 4 years, actually 3.5 years. So we're pretty happy with it.
Any plans to add sports or just enhance what you already have?
Well, you know, we're always studying it. There are some sports you might say, well, we may do something with that and bring in another one. But we have a academic advisory board too from the university, and we talk to them, and we get a lot of things done, and we talk about those things, and we'll make those decisions as they come up. But I don't think that Wayne State, I think we're doing pretty well in the gender equity issue. In fact, the average woman's scholarship is more than the average male here at Wayne State. So we don't think we have to jump or rush into anything. You know, we've got the programs going now as far as actual teams. You know, we've got one more than the male than women than female, but even that's with the introduction of the cross country, and now we're going to split the swimming team, and so we'll have a male and women's swimming team rather than a mixed. We'll be in pretty good shape with it, I think.
Bob, you mentioned earlier attendance. Now, a couple of years ago, attendance was up a little bit. Now, it seems last 2 years down a little bit. Winning cures a lot of things. There's no question about that. But is there anything else that you're looking at to try to increase attendance?
Yeah, you know, we continually try to bring in programs. You know, when we do the homecoming, we also do an academic open house here for the students of the city, etc. And, you know, Skip, actually, attendance really hasn't been down. It may be a little bit today because it's Indianapolis. They don't bring a lot of people. Well, they don't bring a lot of people with them either. But, you know, your first years here, you were seeing 300, 400, 500 out here. And now at least we're into the 1,000 category. Last week, about 1,300, etc. Last year for homecoming, 3,000. So, you know, but what we need is the city of Detroit. You know, we talk about pride. We talk about things of a city. This is, as you know, the only intercollegiate football program in the metropolitan Detroit. And we need to get Detroit to adopt it. We need Detroit to come out here. It's pretty good football. Maybe you wouldn't know it in the first half today, but, you know, it's good football.
It is good football, and I think that people do not recognize that, and they should come out and see these players. Now, and I've seen a big change over the last 8 years with these players. I think there's now 7 or 8 ball players from this league in the NFL. It's a league, you know, you don't expect to come here and then go on to the NFL, but if you're a player, you'll be found here.
And that's true. I think Tom Beer is proof of that. You know, Joe Goff had a tremendous career here. You know, I think that, you know, the kids the youngsters are good. But, you know, again, we're not looking to put them in the NFL. We're looking to put them in the classroom and get them graduated.
Bob, we could go on all afternoon, but thanks for stopping by. You've got an excellent program.
I do appreciate you, and I do appreciate Skip and George Blaha and a lot of and Harry and all of you who helped bring this to us, and we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And Channel 22, we really appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Channel 62 CBS. Very, very happy to be on WWJ Detroit. We will have some statistical information and also the second half play-by-play after we take this break.
Waiting for the ultimate chicken finger food? Try new Colonel's Crispy Strips from KFC. Juicy, all-white meat chicken, freshly prepared with our special extra tasty crispy recipe. New Colonel's Crispy Strips are good enough to be a meal, so eat them with a knife and fork, if you can wait that long.
Everybody needs a little KFC.
And for a mealtime treat, bring home 3 Colonel's Crispy Strips, mashed potatoes and gravy, coleslaw and a biscuit, all for just $2.99.
That's me, Tommy Lasorda, great at communication. That's why I'm proud to be on the MetroCell security team. They're the leaders in communications with security systems for businesses, homes, and vehicles. Cellular phones and pagers, all at affordable prices.
Now at MetroCell Security, get a handheld cellular phone for $0 with Ameritech Cellular Service.
You're safe at home and on the road with MetroCell Security. Call 1-800-LEADER-1.
You saw the doctor today?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think of this guy?
Woman.
Oh, woman?
Graduated top of her class. I like her a lot.
So is she the one you want for the delivery?
Aren't you going to be there?
Of course. But I can't. I mean, I couldn't.
Then we'll ask her to be there, too.
Good. Oh, I'm so glad you found a doctor you like.
Oh, me too.
It's got to be your choice.
Hey, that's right.
Health Alliance Plan. Over 2,000 doctors to choose from.
Did we get a due date?
Bud. Why?
Bud.
Why?
Bud.
Why?
Bud.
Why?
Back at Wayne State Stadium, the Indianapolis Greyhounds lead Wayne State 14-0 in a game where there were just too many turnovers for Wayne State, a total of 5 in the first half. And that really led to all 14 points for Indianapolis.
Yeah, you know, once again, that good news, bad news business. Bad news, you put the ball on the grass, on the turf, you're going to lose the football game. But once again, I keep on saying, it's only 14 points, Pete. They came away, they dodged many, many bullets out there today.
Well, we're going to take a look at some highlights here, and Indianapolis got on the board first. Nate Bush muffed a punt, and the freshman quarterback, Kevin Kreenhagen, a true freshman for the University of Indianapolis, just sneaks it straight ahead for a 7-0 Greyhound lead.
You know, true freshman, he's really shown a remarkable sense of being today, Peter, that he had that injury, as I mentioned during the Open. He was going to play against Slippery Rock, hurt his tendon or his ligament, I believe, excuse me, in his knee. Has done a nice job. He has made some good decisions. Only he's made one bad decision today on an interception.
Okay, here's a key play in the ball game. It looked like Wayne State had things going their way, but Aaron Johnson makes this interception an easy pick because Nate Bush may not have run the route that Mike Glusky thought he was going to run. And Glusky gets the takedown there. 1st and goal for the Greyhounds. And then a very well-conceived play. Again,
yes.
Kreenhagen on a naked reverse takes it to the flag for 6.
As you see, folks, he does a nice job of keeping the football with his right hand against his body and screened it from the defenders so that they didn't know who had the ball, and then took it around the end on a naked boot for a touchdown. He's played remarkable well. Played a nice first half.
You see the tri-captains as Wayne State deferred their decision to the second half, so they should get the ball first. But this was the big play of the first half because they were ready to go in and go down 14-7. It's a pitch to Arnie Gillert, and he loses his footing.
And I really don't know if he's looking, can't see from his angle, if his head is looking at the defenders and he takes his eye off. It almost looks that way, tries to cut, loses his footing, and this is not the NFL, folks. Once you're down, you're down.
When the knee touches, the whistle blows, and play is over. You look at the statistics, and the Greyhounds outrushed the Tartars 119-61. I think that's probably one of the key stats of the afternoon. Is now the Tartars, the rest of the team makes its entrance. You take a look at our halftime statistics. The rushing yards 119 to 61, and that is something that Dominic Lividati would be livid about, being outgained that strong there. Passing is essentially a wash, but you go down to that next to the last column, 5 and 1. That's just not going to do it. And again, time of possession, overrated statistic. It's almost dead even.
Yes.
With 5 turnovers. That's really where the game has, although it's not been decided, that is where you have a 14-point differential. Dominic Lividati mopping his brow. I'm sure that he had more than a few things to say in the locker room at halftime. Well, but I think one of them, Skip, was you're not out of the ball game.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Pete. You hit that perfectly. Because, you know something, you can't come into the locker room, a new coach, and start yelling and screaming and focusing on all the negatives. You don't want to do that. You want to say the positives. You know what? We took the ball down the field. We shot ourselves in the foot on the 2-yard line. But you know what? We got another half to rectify things. And let's get out there and let's stop making these mental mistakes. Stop putting the football on the ground. Let's hold the football. And you know what? Good things are going to happen.
That's right. If Wayne State plays error-free football, it's a big difference. Paul Rona will kick it off for the University of Indianapolis. John Roberts is back there, as is Orlando Fortunata. And this kick swirling to the far side, where it's picked up by Roberts. And he's going to test the middle out to the 35-yard line. Take a look at the standings so far. Ferris State, Northern Michigan, Grand Valley, and Hillsdale, all with perfect records. Grand Valley leading Ashland 13-10. Northwood leading Saginaw Valley State 21-14 today. And Michigan Tech over St. Joseph's 24-8 at the half. And then you see everybody else and all those teams looking for their first win this afternoon in conference play. So big game for Indianapolis, particularly if they can hang on to the lead. Michael Glusky, once again the quarterback. The quick out, and is that no catch? No catch, says the umpire, as Nate Bush went to a knee at the 39-yard line, but was unable to make the grab. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10. And Wayne State needs to get a drive, if nothing else, for their confidence. They had their opportunities at the end of the first half. Nate Bush, the split end here to the near side. Earl Reese, fullback, in motion to the near side. Army Gillert, the lone setback. Glusky under heavy pressure is going to be sacked back at the 31-yard line. The pocket broke down, and Matt Gardner ended up with the sack for Indianapolis. He just ran out of time. Yes. The protection was there initially.
Well, I think he's trying to get to the tight end right here, and the back does a good job. Middle linebacker comes back, closes that off, and he has nowhere to go with it, so he pulls it down and holds on to it, which is important.
But that brings up 3rd and about 13. Following the loss on the play, Glusky straight back, fires over the middle, and that one is well defended. Dion Brimage, the cornerback, knocking it away from Chris George, the intended receiver. Dion looking more like prime time Dion on that play.
Well, you know something? This ball is still thrown a little bit behind him. If it's thrown out in front, this is a reception.
Back up! Everybody, back up!
Jason Webster back to do the kicking for Wayne State. And again, short leg that one because the pressure was coming. And Craig Coughlin is going to let that roll. And now it's loose. And was that touched? Yes, it was.
Silly play.
It was touched by Indianapolis, and Wayne State has recovered.
Polling. What, you know something?
Ken Johnson, the linebacker, was down there to cover it for Wayne State. Now the discussion ensues. Was it touched by Indianapolis? Let's take a look at it, Skip.
Let's see if we can see it. Here's a person who should be away from the ball in the first place. And now we're going to see a lineman come in here. What is he doing?
I have absolutely no idea.
Well, let me say this.
In defensive lineman.